All right, hi and welcome to everyone. Very good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today for a quick introduction and a quick presentation about generative AI tools, whatever is related, all the terminologies, all the technology behind artificial intelligence, the state of art of artificial intelligence. We are going to discuss about what is going on in terms of the artificial intelligence. What is the future going to be for the artificial intelligence? What is the current demand? What is the future demand? How AI reshaping the economy in Malaysia currently? And what is the demand of artificial intelligence in Malaysia? What is the development? What is going to be artificial intelligence in Malaysia? How many jobs going to be replaced by artificial intelligence? How many jobs going to be taken? This is the question that we always face. Does AI going to take my job? And at the same time, we are going to look at how many opportunities AI going to offer. And we try to bring you to a demo. Let me share the slides. All right, so here is the slides. Can you see my slides? All right. I believe you can see the slides. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, all right. So then we are going to have a quick introduction about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, AGI. I'm not sure whether you know what is AGI stands for, what is ASI stands for. Just a quick one. AGI, it is considered as artificial general intelligence. ASI, it is considered as artificial super intelligence. We are going to look at some agentic AI, some AI agents, and all of those terminologies. I think you have heard about them, or maybe you are hearing about some of them for the first time. We are going to look at what are the interconnection among them. Then we are going to look at the revolution of artificial intelligence in terms of business. Mainly, we are going to focus on the involvement and the development of artificial intelligence in Malaysia, as I mentioned to you just now. Then we are going to look at the current tools, which means the current generative AI tools. But let me ask you a question, which is how many generative AI tools are available currently? I am sure, or it is supposed to be, every one of you using generative AI currently in your daily routine, either for entertainment, or you are using it for work, or you are using it for the personal matters or personal things, or just for the sake of figuring out what is going on. If you are not using any of those generative AI so far, or those the current available generative AI so far, so this is a big question mark. So the question is why you are still not using it. AI going to replace people who are not using AI. So AI, I don't think going to replace a human unless a human not going to utilize AI, unless a human not going to use the current available tools to be more efficient, to be more precise, to be faster, to be better, to be creative, and whatever is related to your daily routine. So the question is like, how many generative AI tools currently available in the market? We always talk about ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, DeepSeek, Grok, others. Okay, how many of them? Which one is the useful one? Which one is the best one currently? Which one is good for me to use in my daily job? Which one is the free version? Which one is the most accurate? Which one is the results in a moderation, which we call it the responsible AI? So lots of questions, lots of things we are going to discuss, and then we are going to demo some of those tools. We are going to demo one of them to see how to use it, and this is an introduction to our coming courses in the future. We would like to invite you to join, which is how to use AI for business, how to use AI to be more productive in your daily job, how to start building your own models, and so on. So by the end of today, you are going to gain lots of knowledge about the technology that's currently available, whatever is behind AI, all of those terminologies, what are they about, how they are interconnected, are they interconnected or they are working on their own in an independent way? And then what is going to be the future of this technology? What is the demand? What are the tools? How to search for the tools? And then as long as there are many tools, there are many models, then I think, and to make it simple, we can follow either one of those two ways, either to utilize or to use the current available tools, which is, okay, I'm going to use ChatGPT for the content writing. So every day I'm using ChatGPT, and then maybe later on I might consider going for the paid version, or I just can continue with the free one if it's not using it in a heavy way. Or I might use other generative AI tool for different things, for coding, for video editing, for whatever. And this is what we are going to discuss later on. So me as someone who is going to utilize the current technology, who is going to use the current technology. At the same time, as long as there are many tools and there are many tools also coming, a lot of technical companies, they are talking about tools they might come in the future. Definitely, we might have lots of surprises from now onwards. Everyone can generate those tools. Everyone can develop those tools. So we are going to look at the steps. We are going to look at what is available currently in the market. If we want to move from utilizing the current technology or utilizing the current tools to develop our own tools, we are going to have a hint about that, just for you to understand what is going on and just for you to join our coming sessions. All right, just a quick one about me. My name is Mohammed Al-Obaidi. Everyone knows me as Obay. Lots of Muhammad names in Malaysia, so that's why people they follow my family name to call me, and then in Malaysia they like also to shortage names. Then that's why I found my name become Obay. Then I found it also it's very easy to everyone to remember my name, so that's why everyone knows me as Obay. I have a bachelor in electrical engineering. I have a master in computer science, and I have a PhD in artificial intelligence. I was using the technology of artificial intelligence as a link to the medical department. So at that time, during my research, during my PhD study, it was about building a prototype to automatically annotate and describe the X-ray images in terms of the bones. Medical doctors, they call it automated anatomy. For us, from the technical part, from the IT, we call it classification, annotation, and whatever is related to classifying images. I'm also a certified trainer by the government, and I'm accredited as well. And mainly we focus on those courses that related to big data, data science, artificial intelligence, and then generative AI. We have been collaborating with the Gemini for a long time, and we have lots of things to come in the future. Hope you are going to join us. You can find me on LinkedIn by this link or by this scanning by this QR. Okay, so just a quick one. Before I'm going to start the introduction to artificial intelligence, I would love to know more about you. I would love to know you. And so to make it easy for everyone and to make it faster for everyone, I'm going to share with you a link, and this link, it is a Google form. So in this Google form, I just want you to answer those multiple choices questions. I'm going to share it. So those multiple choices questions about knowing you better, about know your background. So it is for today and also for the future if you would like to join us for our coming courses. So this is the This is the one. Okay, let me share with you the link while I'm going to explain what is this about. So basically, this is just only a questions to know your background, to know your understanding about this technology. Please try to click on the link. There are no names, there are no emails, no contact numbers needed. So just a matter of knowing better about your background. So you just choose whatever you think is right, whatever you think is correct in terms of those questions, like what is digital transformation? What do you think about digital transformation? What do you think about the big data? Later on, we are going to look at why big data is important, why understanding big data is important, why currently there is a demand on the big data, how related big data to whatever we are going to share, or how related big data to artificial intelligence. What do you think about the primary goal of artificial intelligence? And then do you think artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, big data, all of those topics, do you think they are interconnected? This is what we are going to also talk about soon. Then have you heard about AGI and ASI? What do you think about the differences between algorithms or human? And if you are familiar, if you are aware of algorithms or humans, so what do you think? Is it about algorithms or about a human? Or do you prefer a human or algorithms? You don't worry if you have no idea about any of those questions. You can just choose any answer that you feel it is right. Do you think Python programming language, data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, something that you have to practice or something that you already practice? So please let us know. If you have a choice to implement AI solution at your organization, are you going to build it or you are going to buy it? I think this is a very good question, especially for those who are into business. So are you familiar with building predictive model, data processing, separatory data analysis, and the process of building predictive model? What is the phase of cleaning the data, or we call it data wrangling, data wrangling, data cleaning. Sometimes they call it data manipulation or data massaging, data pre-processing. So what is the purpose of feature engineering in machine learning? If you are familiar with it, have you used have you used any of those cloud service like Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Platform, IBM, Alibaba, Oracle? Definitely not only those. In the market currently, there are many. There are like Tencent, there are DigitalOcean, there are Adobe, there are many others. So are you aware of the generative AI tools? Do you use other generative AI tools for work? And do you think artificial intelligence is going to take a lot of jobs currently? Thank you so much for the 6 responses so far. Then I'm going to wait another maybe 3 to 5 minutes for others to answer the questions. Then we are going to discuss them. Then we will start our introduction. Oh, that's great. You think the primary goal of artificial intelligence? Then so far, majority design efficient algorithms for data processing. All right, interesting. Do you think artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, all of these terminologies are interconnected? Majority say yes. Have you heard about artificial AGI, ASI? No, you didn't hear. Then today you are going to hear. I'm going to make a lot of noise about those 2 terminologies. Algorithms are human. Majority, both of them. All right. So majority didn't practice. Yeah, that's fine. So are you going to build or buy? Okay. Majority is about buying it. Are you familiar with those models? Yeah, it's okay. As long as you are not, you didn't practice Python and machine learning, then definitely you are not familiar, which is fine. So 9 responses. Okay, interesting. 10 responses. Thank you so much for the response. Maybe another 2 or 3 minutes. Then we will discuss those questions. Then we'll start the introduction. So all of those questions are considered as something good to know your background, to know your understanding about the current technology. So it is for us also to provide you the best materials, the best knowledge, the start point. Even we mentioned that we are going to go like into 4 phases, right? Today, introduction, implementation of AI, AI for business, and then the current tools. But at the same time, it is for us to know like how fresh to start or how fast to go. Okay, perfect. We have 13 responses so far. Okay, while others answering the questions. So I just want to let you know for today, we are going to have a break at 10:45, or I think it's at 10:30 for 15 minutes. And then we continue for another 1 hour or 1.5 hours. And then definitely by 12:30 or by 1, we are going to end up our session. So the last part of today, or the last hour of today, is going to be for Q&A, or we can have it also for the demo of the current tools. Please try to make sure that your mic is muted. And during our today's session, if you have any question, if you have anything to share with us, please try to share it at any time. You don't have to wait for me to finish or to stop to ask questions or to share your thoughts or to join the understanding. You can stop me at any time. You can unmute your mic and talk to us, or you can just send a message in the chat. I might miss to see the chat, but I'm trying to look at the chat as well. But just in case if I miss the chat, then just unmute your mic and share with us. All right, for those who joined just now, if you would like to answer those questions, we have a survey here. I'm going to share the link again. All right. Okay, so we have in the process of building predictive model, what involves cleaning the data sets? Don't you really understand about this? Cannot answer. All right, never mind. If there's any question that you cannot understand it or it's not clear for you, you just choose whatever you think is right. When it comes to building a predictive model, we have to clean the data. We have to solve the issues of the data. We have to do whatever is related to do the data pre-processing to make the data clean, to make the data ready to be used to build a predictive model. Building a predictive model, so it means we are going to use the algorithms, the AI algorithms, to learn from the data and to be able to predict what is the coming data about, or what is going to be something related to be happen in the future. And then what is the purpose of feature engineering in machine learning? Don't really understand about this. I cannot answer. All right. So the purpose of feature engineering, as we mentioned, we have the data, we need to prepare the data. So the purpose of feature engineering, it is about either creating more related features or about using or choosing the right features to be used later on to build the predictive model, or to improve the accuracy of that built predictive model. Okay, perhaps you can put another option for us to choose that don't know about it. Okay, all right. It's okay, never mind. We are going to discuss those questions, and this is going to be a very good start point for today. Don't worry about it. Okay, so while others still answering the question, so let's talk about those surveys so far, our quick one. So you can see here, so what is digital transformation? Majority, 9 of you among 15, Majority digital transformation, it is the integration of digital technology. Others, digital transformation, it is about using artificial intelligence or automation. And then we have one of your digital transformation, it's about the movement from manual to digital. If you ask me from the technical part, definitely digital transformation, it is about moving from the manual to digital. It's about digitalizing everything. It is about stop using manuals, documents, and whatever. And then definitely after moving to digital, then we have to utilize artificial intelligence for automation. And this is the main idea or the main purpose of using artificial intelligence. We are going to look at why there is a huge demand on artificial intelligence. While this is very interesting to share with you, with the huge demand on artificial intelligence currently, and with a huge development in the area of artificial intelligence currently, do you know that we still didn't reach the real artificial intelligence, or I would say we didn't up to the level which what artificial intelligence it is supposed to be. All right, we are going to understand this also today. Okay, so big data, majority, big data, it is the huge amount of data. Then big data, it is the data that we generate every day. Big data, it is the data that we cannot handle. And then big data, it is about the facts of the data. Yes, understanding big data, or the real meaning of the big data, or I would say the definition of the big data, it is about the data that it comes with the fact. So when we talk about the big data, and this is what we are going to go through shortly in the slides, I don't think there is a clear definition about the big data. If you search in books, if you search in any of the search engine like Google, even if you ask generative AI tools, you search in the vlogs, maybe other training courses, other presenter, I don't think there is there's a clear, definite definition about the big data. Big data, it is about the data that comes with the fact. When it comes to the big data, we talk about always it's about the quantity of the data. People, they think it is about the quantity of the data that makes it to be considered as a big data, but it is about the fact. It's very important to understand big data, to understand the facts of the big data, to know whether the data that you are working on is a big data or not, and then to know what is what is supposed to be next after understanding the big data. What do you think the primary goal of artificial intelligence? Then we can see 40%, 40%. The green one, it is design efficient algorithms for data processing. And then the yellowish, it is about enhancing natural human abilities through technology, and then creating machines that can think and behave like a human. This is supposed to be the most correct answer, or this is supposed to be the simple, the very clear definition of artificial intelligence. It was said artificial intelligence, it is about how to make the computer machine smart. Smart, it means how to make the computer machine think, act, answer questions like a human, act like a human, making decisions like a human, answering questions like a human. This is the main idea of artificial intelligence. Okay, do you think artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI tool, or generative AI as a technology, big data topics are interconnected? Majority, they say yes. Yes, they are interconnected. And then we are going to look at how they are interconnected. AGI, ASI, majority of you didn't hear about it. Today we are going to hear about it. We are going to understand what are those two about, and then what they are supposed to be. And then do we have AGI and ASI now? Or is it something that we are going to have it in the future, or something that we will never have it? Algorithms or human? So majority, they say both. Okay, all right, interesting. I think maybe this one we leave it at the end of today. Then we are going to discuss again about, okay, what do you think algorithms and the human with all the technology that we are going to talk about today? Did you practice? Majority didn't practice. And then you have some of you recently. That's interesting. And then long time ago, so I would say like 50% of you never, 50% of you practice. So this is the beauty of today's presentation. So it's going to be for both of you. If you have a practice, if you need to practice, as I mentioned earlier, we can use whatever available currently in the market in two ways, either to just utilize, consume them, or later on, as long as we are able to do coding or we are able to use whatever available open sources, then we can develop our own tool instead of using the current available tool. Then you may ask, so why do I have to develop my own tool? ChatGPT is very good with the content writing. So why do I have to develop a tool which is going to help me to do the content writing? GitHub Copilot is very good with doing the coding for those who are into coding. So why do I have to develop another tool which is going to help me with the coding? Midjourney or Image Creator are very good tool to do the graphics, to create for me graphics. So why do I have to develop another tool to do graphics for me? And all of those that I mentioned, all of those three that I mentioned, except Midjourney, all of them, they come with the free version. So I can use them for free for a limited request or a limited time. So why do I have to develop my own tool? This is what we are going to discuss later on, or this is maybe you think about it first, then we discuss by the end of today. So if you have a choice to implement AI solution at your organization, will you build the AI model or will you buy it? So I would say it might be like 50 of you to build, 50 of you to buy it. I think this is a very, very important question for everyone or for every company or for every decision maker in the company or for every businessman or for every kind of business. Okay, this era, this decade, the coming decades, all about using artificial intelligence. So first of all, how to use artificial intelligence in my company? So do I have to develop my own models? Do I have to develop my own tools, or do I have to buy them? What is the budget like? What is the consequences? What are the revenue of using them? So lots of things need to think about. Later on, if any one of you are interested in this question or interested in this kind of discussion about AI, then we can discuss later on after understanding what is available currently. Then later on, we can brainstorm about whether you should build it or you should buy it. Then are you familiar with the building predictive model? Majority of you know, it's all right, no problem. And then in the process of building predictive model, what is the phase involving cleaning the data? Majority of you say data wrangling, which is yes, correct. Data wrangling, it is about cleaning the data. And then what is the purpose of feature engineering in machine learning? Majority of you say creating new features to improve model performance. Yes, this is correct. And then have you ever used those cloud services? Oh, interesting. So it's like 30% of you or slightly more have heard about them. 33% of you use them, and then the rest didn't hear about them. Didn't use them, sorry. I think the cloud services currently are available for multiple usage, and can see the cloud service providers are continuously increasing. This is due to the limitation of our storage. We cannot archive the data in our local storages. Companies also, if they are building their own servers to archive their data, they are going to reach a level which is maintaining, or the cost of improving, upgrading that server is going to be much higher than using the cloud services. So that's why a lot of high-tech company, a lot of banks, especially here in Malaysia, banks, tech companies, big companies, they started to move from using their own local servers to the cloud services. Some of them, they move also to utilize more than one cloud services. So instead of like just use the Azure cloud services, then they use AWS as well. And instead of just using Azure and AWS, they use Google Cloud Platform. This is because they don't want to rely on just only one service provider, just in case if anything happened to that cloud service provider, then they can switch to another one. Besides that, they might also maintain the local server, but the movement from local servers to using cloud services, it is about mainly it is about the cost, and definitely it's about the computing. When we talk about the computing, is we talk about the cost. It could be it could be safer in terms of safety, in terms of security. It could be better, but the question is it 100% secure? Is it 100% safe? I don't think we have 100% security. It could be the most secured service currently, or this is the most secured way to go so far. So are you aware of the generative AI tools? Okay, so I should focus on those who answer the question, which is not aware of them. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Nowadays, it's like when we provide courses about generative AI tools, when we provide those technical courses, which is we help people to develop their own models, doing coding, doing whatever. So normally recently we moved by asking them, so how many of those tools are you using currently? Or how many of those tools you think are useful? Or how many of those tools that you know? Before we used to ask, okay, are you aware of the generative AI tools or not? This is why we are not asking about, are you aware of not? Because it is a kind of awareness for everyone to like, it is a compulsory step. It is something we have to, it is something I believe technology always enforce on a human. So whether they like it or not, at the end of the day, it's going to be enforced on every one of us. So now we should change this question is, are you aware of generative AI tools? To, how many generative AI tools do you use currently? How many generative AI tools do you use in your daily routine? How many generative AI tools are you aware of? Okay, so this is just a hint, just an advice. Definitely, a lot of them, they are still just a beginner, but I think this is going to be the right move. So if you are not aware of those generative AI tools, then I think this is a very good hint for you, a very good advice for you to start using those generative AI tools. Maybe you just use them for fun, use them for personal matters, use them just for the sake of knowing what are those about, what are the things that they can provide you. And then later on, definitely you are going to find a way of using one of them, two of them, all of them for your work, for your business, for your improving your income, or for other things, other services that you are looking for in your daily routine. All right. So do you use other generative AI tools for work? So this is mainly the question is, do you use generative AI tools for work or you don't use it? So half of you, I would say it's slightly more than a half. So you are use them for work. Yes, this is another advice. If you are using those generative AI tools for work, then this is a very right move. And then it is always about how to use others and how to improve using them at work. Do you think artificial intelligence is taking over lots of jobs currently? No, it's not. One of you answered, no, it's not. not taking a lot of jobs currently, and then majority, I would say yes, 33%, yes, and AI is creating more jobs opportunity. Yeah, that's interesting. So during today, and one of the slides you will see later on, based on the recent statistics, in a couple of years in Malaysia, AI is going to take over 600,000 jobs. Can you imagine? It's like 600,000 jobs going to be lost, or job opportunities going to be lost in the country. But at the same time, we are expecting up to 800,000 jobs or 800,000 skills going to be generated for artificial intelligence in Malaysia. And this is the reality of any technology. Today, we are focusing on artificial intelligence. Our field is artificial intelligence, because that's why we are talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is taking over jobs, or artificial intelligence as a technology, making lots of jobs to become obsolete. But at the same time, artificial intelligence offering more money and more interesting and more up-to-date job opportunities for people to move on, to upgrade, to upskill, and to work on the artificial intelligence. And this is the reality, and this is the fact of any other technology. Any technology, when it comes to the market, will make a lot of jobs to become obsolete, but at the same time, is going to create much more jobs in the market, and much more jobs going to be available in the market for people to start adventuring in the new technology. All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering the questions. Okay, let's go back to the slides. And let's make some noise about this technology. I believe you can see my slides. All right, so introduction to artificial intelligence. Before we start with artificial intelligence, definitely we have to understand big data. What is big data about? And as we mentioned just now, book one about big data. Big data, it is about, we say there is no any definite definition about the big data and blogs and the vlogs and whatever you are going to search for. And in general, big data, it is about the huge amount of data that is continuously generating either by us, we as individuals, or by private sector and government sectors. And due to the huge amount of data that is available currently, or that is continuously generating currently, we need to find a way to ingest the data, or to collect the data. And then we need to use technologies that is going to clean up the data, to process the data, to structure the data, to archive that data in the right way. And then we need to use other tools or other technologies to start analyzing the data for the sake of getting insights from that data, and to turn those insights to something to be considered as a value. Value could be profit. Companies, they are using the technology of the big data to improve their profit, to improve their services, to improve their revenue, to improve lots of things. Governments worldwide, they are using the technology of the big data to improve the infrastructure of the country. Currently, infrastructures of the countries, they are not going to be improved without using the technology of the big data, without using the technology of artificial intelligence, without using other technologies as well. All right, so this is how important is the big data. And we say big data, it is the umbrella of all. Because of the big data, there is a huge demand on artificial intelligence. For your information, artificial intelligence, it is not something new. Artificial intelligence, it is a technology that it was revealed, or it is a technology that it was developed, and it was like scientists in that time, they started talking about artificial intelligence since the first computer machine came to the market. If you can recall, or if you have heard about that, the first computer machine came to the market, it was during 50s. You imagine artificial intelligence in the market, or artificial intelligence as a technology, scientists, they started talking about it since 50s, since 1955, since 1951. So it's like almost 80 years. So why this kind of technology now? Why this huge demand on artificial intelligence now? And we still didn't reach the real artificial intelligence. So this is what we are going to understand today. So it is all because of the big data. So just a quick one about the big data. We said big data, it is not about the quantity of the data. And we said big data, there is no definite definition about it. Big data about the facts of the data. So those facts that making data that you are dealing with to be considered as a big data. Then the question is, all right, what is after that? What is after considering the data that I'm dealing with or the data that I'm using, it is a big data? Or what is after companies, they reach the level of having the big data? What should they do next? So big data, or the facts of the big data, it is about the volume, velocity, and the variety. Just a quick one. Volume, it is about the scale of the data. If the scale of the data, of the amount of the data continuously increasing, and you reach the level that you cannot handle that data manually, then this is the first fact to consider. Data that you are dealing with is a big data. Then velocity, it is about, okay, how fast that this huge scale or the accumulated data continuously increasing. So if it is in a short time and a very fast way, so this is considered as the second fact to consider the data that you are dealing with is a big data, or the data that you have in your company is a big data. Then the variety, it is about the types of the data. It is about the structured and unstructured data. We talk about structured data. I think this is very simple. This is very straightforward. But if you didn't hear about the structured and unstructured data, it is also fine. Structured data, it is considered as the data that comes into rows and columns. Unstructured data, it is the data that we have in our devices. Some of the blogs, even books that related to the big data, they say that the unstructured data is the messy data. Why do they call it a messy data? Because data, it comes into different formats. It comes into images, videos, audios, PDFs, text. Yeah, it's a mess of data. So they are not organized. They are not like all the images data in one format, or all the videos data in one format, or all the text data in format. Even that type of data, they come also into different formats. All right. So if you have those three facts, then the data that you are dealing with, it is considered as a big data. Then to answer the question, so what is next? Yes, the data that I have, it comes with those facts. So what is next? What should I do next? Next, it means you need to use other technologies. You need to use not the traditional softwares, or not the traditional way to work on the data to handle that huge amount of data, and to get enough insights from the data to turn those insights into a value. Big data, it is not about only the value. Big data can solve problems. Big data can make recommendations. Big data can have new findings. Big data can improve lots of things in terms of the value of the profit, making money from the big data, and in terms also for improving services. So countries, governments, they can improve the healthcare system by using the technology of the big data. They can improve the education system with the big data. Your company, other companies, they can provide more services. They can make more money. They can be more efficient, all right, by using the technology of the big data. So this is about the big data. If you search online, I think you are going to find the 3 V's of the big data. You may ask why they call it the 3 V's, because all of them, they start with the letter V. And at the same time, you are going to find those people that they understand the V's of the big data as 5 V's, 4 V's, 6 V's, 7 V's. Some of them, they consider 10 V's to consider the data that you are dealing with as a big data. I believe all of those other V's are just an extension from, or just something exactly relevant to those three V's. All of the high-tech companies, they consider big data that comes with the three V's, like Microsoft, Amazon, IBM, Oracle. You can see on the websites, they consider the big data, it is the data that it comes with the three V's. Any data, if you are just like not really understand or not really can consider the data that you are dealing with is a big data or not, there is another way. If you are dealing with the structured data, if you are dealing with the data that it comes into rows and columns, then if the data cannot be read by the Excel sheet, the most traditional, the most easy, the most like common way of handling data 20 years ago and up to now, and I believe for the coming at least a decade, we are still using Excel sheet, and there are lots of improvements and lots of add-on with the Excel sheet to do data analysis, to do data visualization. So if the data, it comes into number of rows and number of columns beyond those numbers in terms of rows, in terms of columns, then you cannot read that data by the Excel sheet. Then this is for you to know the data that you are having. It is considered as a big data. So you cannot handle this data manually. You need to automate the process of handling such a data. Big data, it is about the same data that we used to face before. But the data, it was not that big, or the amount of data was not that big, then we were able to handle the data manually. All right. Currently, we cannot handle the data manually. Currently, we need to handle it in an automated way. We need to automate the process of handling the data. And we need also to use more complex tools to solve more complex problems, to get more complex insights, to work on more complex data. Currently, it's not only about the amount of the data that we have. It is about the complexity of the data that we have. If you are still using Excel sheet to handle your data, then that is fine. You don't worry. Maybe for the coming couple of years also, you are still continue using the Excel sheet. But believe me, you are going to reach a level which is not able to handle the data by the Excel sheet. Or even if you are handling the data by the Excel sheet currently, I believe for some of the problems or some of the recommendations or some of the insights, definitely the limitations of the Excel sheets not going to help you to figure them out. So you need to use automation. You need to use data analytics. You need to use data analysis. You need to use other way to work on such a data, to work on such a problems, to work on such complex insights, to automate the process of handling that data. So it is all about the automation, and it is as long as all about the automation. So here it comes artificial intelligence. The main purpose, the main idea, the huge demand, whatever we call it, it is all because of the automation, because of the demand, because of the huge amount of big data, then we are having this huge demand on artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is going to help us with the automation. Artificial intelligence is going to be able to understand things, to learn things, and then going to implement and going to apply those things on the coming data. All right, so that's why artificial intelligence is now. That's why there is a huge demand on artificial intelligence, and it's not only now. Artificial intelligence is going to be for now and for the future, and this is what we are going to understand furthermore. So now we can see it is all because of the big data. Why artificial intelligence now, as long as artificial intelligence, it was released in 50s? Why the huge demand now? It is all about the big data. And you can see if we consider putting data on the x-axis and then on the y-axis artificial intelligence, then we are going to have a linear line. More data, more demand, and more development in terms of the artificial intelligence. Or maybe we are going to have the exponential line, because the data are going to increase exponentially. Now we are still moving from 4G to 5G. We didn't move completely. Worldwide, other countries, not only Malaysia, they didn't move completely to the 5G, while China started the 6G technology. So you imagine the amount of data in the future, how huge are going to be. Then the demand on handling that huge amount of data is going to also increase. Then the demand on using artificial intelligence technology is going to also increase. Okay, so what are the technology of artificial intelligence? Or I would say, what are the domains of artificial intelligence? Then we will be able to know how to use artificial intelligence, or at least to know how artificial intelligence currently handling this huge amount of data, or currently helping to handle this huge amount of data. If you search online about the domains of artificial intelligence, I think you will see like 20 domains, 30 domains. The last article I read, they were talking about more than 50 domains about artificial intelligence. Why? Because they consider as, okay, artificial intelligence for gaming is a domain. Artificial intelligence for finance is a domain. Artificial intelligence for healthcare is a domain. For education is a domain. For every purpose, or for everything that we are using artificial intelligence for, they consider it as a domain, which is, I have no objection. But at the same time, artificial intelligence, it is about dealing with the data. Artificial intelligence, it's about, in simple way, it is about understanding, it is about doing whatever humans do in their daily routine. So we understand things, we understand data, we do our activities in the daily routine based on the things that we deal with. So this is the main domains of artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence as a technology, this technology is trying to reduce the gap, all right, or bridge the gap between the human intelligence and then the machine intelligence. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, how to bridge this gap, it is all about using algorithms. And those algorithms, they fall under machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, and then later on, the AGI and ASI. So those are the algorithms to bridge the gap between machine intelligence and the human intelligence. So what kind of data then normally artificial intelligence deal with, or what data normally that those algorithms they deal with? It's all based on what the human doing in their daily routine. So when it comes to the human, we as a human, we use the language, either the spoken language, like what we are doing currently. We are having this online, we are chit-chatting to each other. We can use the text, or we can talk to each other. So we need a technology that is going to make the computer machine understand the human language. We as a human, we can understand each other, but how our computer machine, how the artificial intelligence model going to understand the human language? So we need a technology to make those machines, or to make those models able to understand the human language. It can be the spoken language as a voice, or can be the text language as a written language. So here it comes the natural language processing, or we call it NLP. I think you have heard about NLP. A lot of when they talk on YouTube or talk in any other places, they talk about NLP. So what is NLP about? NLP, it is about natural language processing. I'm not going to go in any technical part today. This is a presentation. It is for everyone to understand what is going on. And we are considering everyone, either someone wants to use the tool, or someone as a business wants to implement those tools, or wants to develop or buy those tools. All right. So natural language processing, to understand it, is a way to convert the human language, written or voice language, in a way to be understood by the computer machine, or in a way to be understood by the artificial intelligence tools, and then to generate a language, or to analyze the language, or to classify or justify the language. So this is all about natural language processing. So when it comes to using, like, for example, artificial intelligence for finance, or artificial intelligence for healthcare, or artificial intelligence for marketing. So I believe all of those three, we have text data. When it comes to finance, we have text data of customers. When it comes to healthcare, we have text data of patients. When it comes to marketing, we have text data of products and customers and whatever. So this is about using artificial intelligence to work on the text data, to work on the language data. So this is all about using natural language processing. So mainly all of those, they fall under the main domain of artificial intelligence, which is natural language processing. All right. Then what else we do in our daily routine? In our daily routine, we drive, we move, we interact, we become happy, we become sad, we become aggressive, we become grumpy sometimes, all based on what do we see around us, right? So this is fall under, okay. So the question is how to make artificial intelligence, or how to make the computer machine understand graphics, or understand the surround, or understand images, or understand videos, like how a human understand images, videos, and they look at their surround, then they can make a move, or drive, or fly, or react. So this is fall under the technology of the computer vision. Again, not technical today. Computer vision, it is about using this technology to bridge the gap between the human and between the how a human understand the graphics and how machines or AI models understand the graphics. For the sake of what? For the sake of lots of applications, like generating images, generating graphics. A lot of tools currently, they are generating graphics for us. A lot of other applications for facial recognition. Most of our devices, most of our phone devices, either you are on iOS or you are on Android, we are using our face to unlock the phone. So we are using it for the facial recognition. Or we are using it for the different applications, for the bank, for other security steps. Okay, so this is fall under the computer vision. Then we have another one of the most important currently and for the future artificial intelligence domain, which is the robotic. I think you have heard about Industrial Revolution 4.0 and Industrial Revolution 5.0. Sorry, Industrial Revolution 4.0, it is all about moving to digital, and it's about the automation. Moving to digital, then we have a huge amount of data. One of the reasons of having a big data currently, or the development of the big data technology, it is because the movement to the digital transformation. It is because of the digital transformation, the movement to digitalize everything. So we ended having lots of data to handle. Then we need automation. Then we need artificial intelligence. So that's why when you talk about AI, IR 4.0, sorry, IR 4.0, it is all about the automation and the digitalization. Then Industrial Revolution 5.0, it is all about the technology of the robotics and the technology of the big data with the AI. So robotics or robot, those machines, they can look like a human, or they can be any other thing. So those machines that they are going to work alongside with the human to achieve the daily routine in a better way, in a more precise way, and in a faster way. I think you notice, like some of the restaurants currently in Malaysia, you are not going to have a waiter or waitress. You are going to have a machine to serve you or take your order. Maybe you have noticed when it comes to the manufacturer, especially in Malaysia, the movement of having the zero human interaction in the manufacture. So manufacturers are going to be those, we call them dancing robots. This is what Amazon celebrated many years ago in their warehouses. They moved completely to use the robot, to use machines to take those goods from the roofs or to put the goods on the roofs. So instead of having the manpower, then we are going to have those robots, and Amazon in that time they called it dancing robots. So many manufacturers currently in Malaysia, they are moving to have those dancing robots to be zero human interaction. Not only Malaysia, as a worldwide manufacturers going to be less human interaction. Then we need to have those people who can monitor, can develop, can maintain those dancing robots. So robotic, or those robots, is all about using the natural language processing, using computer machine, using the IoT technology, using the hardware technology to develop those machines that they are going to work alongside with the human. And then very recent and the most upgraded NLP, we called it LLM, large language model. Large language models, all of them, they are based on the natural language processing. All of them they consider as an upgraded version of the natural language processing. The difference is dealing with a really huge amount of text. Natural language processing dealing with the big data of text. LLM dealing with the giant data or giant big data, or shall we call it the giant data? Anyway, maybe in the future we are going to have this term, instead of the big data, the giant data. So a really huge amount of data, of the text data, to get more insights, to provide better services. And then a lot of applications that we have of the LLM, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, Grok, Copilot, many you can hear. Later on, I'm going to share with you some of those tools that I personally use. I think we are in the stage of not going to be able to cover all. Again, I'm going to ask you this question. How many generative AI tools are available currently in the markets? You may think, even me, if I talk about myself, maybe, I'm also not sure, but maybe I can count up to 10. Based on my usage, I can count up to 10. But do you know, in the market, currently, there are thousands. Yes, there are thousands of them. I will show you later on today those thousands of generative AI tools currently available in the market. Okay, so those the domains of the AI, whatever later on application or whatever thing that you want to develop or what you want to use, they fall under those main domains because they fall under the kind of data that that domain or that application deal with. Marketing, AI for marketing. Just now we mentioned AI for marketing. We can use natural language processing. Yes, we are using natural language processing for marketing, for describing products, for analyzing the description of the products, to analyze the customer feedbacks, to do sentiment analysis to see the customers are happy or not, to look at the customer feedback, whether it is a negative or positive, what is wrong with that, and everything, all right, that related to the text. At the same time, for marketing, we are using the computer vision domain. So we can create graphics to be used for marketing. We can analyze all of the images of the products to archive them in a better way, to cluster them, to have all of those related to be in one cluster, and so on. Okay, so any applications, any domains later on, you are going to deal with either one of those domains. And for those developers, for those they are thinking currently about my earlier question, which is, okay, I'm going to build my own generative AI. Oh, it seems I can build my own generative AI instead of using those available currently in the market, which is I'm having the limitation of using them per day. I don't want to pay for it. I want to continue the free one. I want to do this, to do that. Yes, you can. Lots of open sources currently available in the market. So you can develop your own generative AI tools, and it it is much easier than what you think. Okay, all right. So those are the domains. And here, let's just a little bit, we talk about the interconnection of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI tool. Then generative AI as a technology, sorry. So we said it's all about machine learning, deep learning, generative AI. So how related they are. Artificial intelligence, it is something since 50s. It is something about how to make the computer machine smart. It is all about instructing the computer machine. How to instruct the computer machine? It is by using the computer programming language. That's why we have many computer programming language, to have better instructions to the computer machine and to build more softwares, and those they are going to help us with our daily routine, and they're going to help us a human to be more efficient. And it is something since 50s. To 80s, from 50s to 80s, then we started to have machine learning, ML, which is considered as a subset of artificial intelligence. It is about doing less coding, using less demand on computer programming language by learning from the data and apply the learning on the new coming data. We are still using codes, but we are using those codes in a repetitive way because we have more data. Then we need algorithms, we need our model, our AI models to learn from the data and then to apply the learning on the new coming data, or to learn from the data to make a decision for the future. All right. And then we moved from machine learning to deep learning in 2010, when was the demand is really high in the last decade on using deep learning. Deep learning, we called it subset of machine learning, while machine learning subset of artificial intelligence. So you can see how interconnected they are. Why we call machine learning, why we call deep learning as a subset of the machine learning? Because it is about one of the algorithms of the machine learning. It was developed to handle more complex data than machine learning can handle, or to get more complex insights than machine learning can get, or to solve more complex problems than machine learning can solve. And this is due to the algorithm that it was developed for the deep learning, which is the artificial neural network, which is the algorithm that it was influenced by the neuron in the human brain. So it works in a way like how the human brain works. No technical for today. If you are interested in the technical, you are always welcome to join our technical courses. And then from the last decade to the current decade, which is all about generative AI tool. Generative AI tool, I would say, consider as the application of the deep learning. Generative AI tool, it is about, or generative AI as a technology, it is considered as using deep learning in more complex way to work on even more complex issues, more complex data, to generate alike data. When it comes to the machine learning and deep learning, both of them about learning from the data for better decision, learning from the data for knowing what is the new data coming, what is the coming data about. Generative AI, it is about learning from the data to generate alike data, which is the movement. We said, okay, when it comes to the generative AI, we moved from learning from the data and apply the learning to learning from the data to generate alike data, for the sake of improving the data and getting more relevant data, supposed to get more relevant data. Okay, so I think now you can see the interconnection. Big data to artificial intelligence because of the automation, sorry. And then artificial intelligence to machine learning, it is moved from everything coded to start learning. Machine learning to deep learning, it is about working on the bigger amount of the data, more complex data, more complex insights, more complex results. Generative AI, it is about starting learning from the data to generate alike data. As you can see, all of them are interconnected. All right. Okay, before we stop for the break, just a quick one. I'm just going to look at the types of the machine learning, which are the same types for the deep learning, which are something can be related later on to generative AI tool. But I'm not going to talk about the technical, as we mentioned, not technical, but I just want to mention the applications of each one that every one of us currently we are using, but we are not aware of. Like, for example, when it comes to first type of the machine learning, supervised learning. Supervised learning, it is about building predictive models. All right. How to build those predictive models, we leave it for the technical parts, not for today. Predictive models, if any one of you into cryptocurrency, if any one of you into stock market, if any one of you into like doing some investment in terms of logistic, in terms of real estate. So those are predictive models. They can predict for you what is the time to buy the stock market, or what is the time to buy that cryptocurrency. For the logistic, for the real estate, what is going to be that area or those houses or that condo, the price alike in the coming 10 years. And we are using, if you are into this kind of interest or investment, then we are using mobile app, we are using websites to know about these things. And they are 100% built based on using supervised learning, built based on using predictive models. Companies, they are approving the loan for new applicants by using AI. I think back to 2018, if I'm not mistaken, Alibaba was providing results of loan application within 24 hours without human interaction. So the applicant is going to submit the documents, the needed documents, and then the AI model is going to decide whether this applicant is going to be, the application of that loan is going to be approved or not, based on the classification, based on the analysis of the documents. All right. If you want to make it, if you want to understand it in a better way, to make it easier for you, it is about using the weather app. Let's say you are traveling this coming weekend, or you are traveling next month, or you're traveling in the future. So you want to check the weather in that area. So you will go to the weather app, either on the website or on your mobile. Then you are going to check what is going to be the weather maybe in 2 months in that particular area, or what is going to be the weather not traveling on this weekend, what is going to be the weather and the destination. So you are going to look at what is the weather in terms of the temperature and in terms of the weather like. So is it cloudy? Is it rainy? Is it hot, cold, and so on? So this is all about the prediction. Then we move to unsupervised. Unsupervised, every company currently, they are using something for their marketing, something we call it customer segmentation. So customer segmentation, helping companies to build a better marketing campaign by targeting the right customer. All of those applications based on the technology or based on the models of the customer segmentation. If you are aware of the Facebook ads, if you are aware of the LinkedIn ads, if you are aware of the YouTube ads, Google ads, all of those social media now they are providing us a way to advertise on their platforms. So for them, they want to provide better services for the consumers, right? For us as using their services of advertisements. So they use unsupervised learning models to segment the customers in many criteria, in many facts, in many conditions, roles, to build a better marketing campaign to target the right customers. And for us, we just pay for the ads, we pay for the service, and for them to make us reach the right customer. So all based on the unsupervised. Self-supervised. self-supervised, any editing, like typo, like if you have issues with the data, if you have automation of building an email, whatever, this is under the technology, under the model of the self-supervised learning. Semi-supervised learning, I think you are aware of the current photos. So let's take a very real example. If you are on iOS or if you are on Android, I think you are aware now your photos, they can, if you go to people, then you are going to see those photos that related to each other, they become in one group. Then later on, you can label the group, you can describe what is that group about. So this is one of the application of the semi-supervised learning. And then the last one, reinforcement learning. When it comes to the reinforcement learning, I think the most interesting and the most real example when it comes to reinforcement learning, it is the auto-driven car, the technology of the auto drive currently. I think you're aware of Tesla, you are aware of other car manufacturers. They are implementing the auto drive technology, and they are implementing also the driving assistant. This is one of the applications of the reinforcement learning. There are many applications like drones, autopathing, and many others. All right. So when it comes to these types, we have the same types, but by using the deep learning technology. All right, not the machine learning technology, not the machine learning algorithms, the deep learning algorithms. So you may ask, so since machine learning, they are working on all? Yes, but why deep learning? And I just want you to understand the differences in terms of a business, in terms of not a technical, in terms of someone wants to utilize this technology for the business. Someone wants to choose the right model. So you imagine I have a company, all right, and I want to develop a model, or I want to use artificial intelligence, and then definitely I have a huge amount of data. I have the real big data. So should I use machine learning or should I use deep learning? Which one should I use? Or which one is going to provide me better results? So I have to understand what is each one about, and then I will start investing or I start adventuring in either one. So machine learning and deep learning, I think is clear, the definition, just now we mentioned. And we mentioned that machine learning, deep learning can deal with the more amount of data than the machine learning can deal with. Both of them, they deal with the big data. But there is a level when machine learning cannot, okay, by the data continuously increasing, machine learning won't be able to improve the accuracy. Then here it comes deep learning. Deep learning, it has a linear relationship between the performance and the amount of the data. So the more data, the better performance. While machine learning, the more data, better performance and a limited level. After that, machine learning is not going to be able to handle that really huge amount of data. So here it comes to deep learning. So you may ask, or you may think, why don't I just use deep learning? As long as deep learning is always about improving the performance by increasing the data. So here it comes the reason. The reason it is about the computing. When you are going to use machine learning, you are going to use less computing. When you are going to use deep learning, you are going to use more computing. And when it comes to the computing, it means more money. You have to spend more. Now, the biggest challenge for every tech company for the technology of the generative AI is about how to reduce the cost for the computing. How I use less computing resources and provide the same results, or I provide the better results. Computing, it means a lot of money we have to pay. So do you think the data that you have needs to implement deep learning on it? Then you have to pay more. Or the data that you have still can be handled by the machine learning. It is always about using machine learning and then later on using deep learning. So this is the question that to answer if you are going to move to the technical. And then other differences like the features, this is a technical part. And then definitely when it comes to the machine learning, it is faster. Can be longer because the amount of the data, the interpretation of the results can be easier for the machine learning than the deep learning. Even the results, very positive results, but sometimes when it comes to the deep learning, it's a bit difficult to interpret or to justify the results. All right. Machine learning, we can say that works on the simpler tasks compared to the tasks that deep learning can work on. And this is just, sorry, this is a bit technical. If you want to adventure more, then these are the technologies and these are the algorithms that you need to use for both. All right. So to continue with what we have started, we mentioned that when it comes to building predictive models, when it comes to build anything that related to supervised learning, it is considered on the highest demand. Building any model starts by getting the data, getting the label of the data. If you want to build a predictive model, getting the known data, and then start building the models. Building the models is not going to be something which is going to provide good results at the beginning. Definitely at the beginning, in terms of the technical part, is going to be the accuracy going to be very low. There needs a lot of tuning, a lot of modification, and then until the model is going to be able to provide the results which could be higher than the threshold, if we are going to decide on a threshold. And then after that, deploying the model can be a web app, can be a mobile app, can be GUI, or can be any other service which is going to be used to work on the new coming data or to use to generate alike data. All right. So one of the simplest things to understand generative AI models or to understand the predictive models, you imagine you have a feedbacks, and this feedbacks is for a bank. So all of these feedbacks, it comes with the label. So this one, it was manually labeled. So now we have a huge amount of data which is already labeled. So we want to automate the process. We want to build a model. That model is going to automatically label the new coming feedback of the customer without the human interaction. So they can learn from this data. Definitely, these are only samples. The data that we're supposed to have is supposed to be in a huge amount. And then the predictive models is going to learn from this data and then going to automatically automatically label the new coming data. Then companies, banks, whatever they are using this model, they are going to look at the positive, neutral, at the negative. Then they will look at the rate of the negative. They will look at why do we have such a negative comments, then they can improve. And these kind of models, every company, every kind of business, they need it. All right. So moving from the AI to generative AI, we mentioned generative AI. It is considered as something for this decade. This is considered as the recent revolution of the artificial intelligence, and you can see in this relationship here, data and time, performance. Then by more data, more time, then we have better performance, then we have better technology of artificial intelligence. Currently, we are using the generative AI. Generative AI, it is a shifting from learning to generating. So all of those models, they use to learn from data for the sake of predicting what is the coming data about or predicting something for the future. Now we are learning from the data to apply to generate alike data. So one of the simple example on when it comes to the generative AI and then the normal AI. So one of the models and one of the things that always companies they focus on, it is the customer churn, which is the loyalty or the satisfaction or the continuous usage of the customer of that particular service or the sorry, seems I'm a bit under the weather today. So customer churn, it is about the loyalty, or it is about satisfaction, or it is about the continuous usage of that product or that service from the company. So whether the customer is going to continue pay for the service or going to stop. So every company, they want to predict, they have a service or they have products, they want to predict what is going to be the customer churn ratio. Companies also, they want to see what is the employment churn, the employees churn, all right, for the sake of maintaining the good employees and so on. So this is AI kind of predict by using machine learning, by using deep learning, we kind of, those models, they kind of predict. Generative AI tool, they can be in a way by generating, maybe they can generate more scenarios of the customer churn for the sake of improving the results of the machine learning or deep learning, okay, by having more samples. Then we can, those machine learning and deep learning models, they can improve the accuracy, the prediction rate, or they can generate materials, or they can generate things for the customer to be more interested to continue the service or to continue the usage of the services or the products. So this is the goodness of using generative AI. Then later on, we are going to talk about the generative AI tools and whatever is related to generative AI. Then what is after the generative AI? Everyone talking about generative AI, everyone talking about the usage of the generative AI. We say this decade is about generative AI tools. Every decade, it comes with its own technology. So what is the technology after the generative AI technology? The technology which is going to be after the the generative AI technology, it is the AGI, the artificial general intelligence, this is going to be the new revolution of artificial intelligence. A lot of high-tech companies, they already started talking about artificial general intelligence 2 or 3 years ago. It's not something just recently. And a lot of tools currently available in the market. The developers or the companies, the owner of that technology, they mentioned that this is the first artificial general intelligence, which I believe, like when DeepSeek was released a few months ago, it was said that the first artificial general intelligence, which I believe it's not. Okay, let's say it's not really. All right. Artificial general intelligence as a technology is going to be something like is going to be doing whatever a human can do. So artificial general intelligence, it is a technology which can act exactly like a human and can learn by itself. All of those models that we have, even generative AI, they have to learn from the data. They have to learn from the predefined data. They cannot learn by themselves. There is no data, there is no predefined data. They cannot learn from themselves. Artificial general intelligence, it is about learning by itself. It is about doing whatever a human can do daily. So a human, they can drive, they can go to work, they can do the job, they can do coding, they can do graphics, they can do other things, sales, whatever, analyze data and whatever they can do. And they can drive back home, they can cook, they can go to exercise, they can buy furniture, they can take care of their family, they can watch movie. All of these things we do in our daily routine. So artificial intelligence, it's supposed to be something like that. So artificial general intelligence is going to be the future. Is going to take at least a decade to see the real artificial general intelligence. Currently, I don't think we have the real application of the artificial general intelligence, but this is for you as a motivation to see how the demand on artificial intelligence. So it's not about the past, it's not about now. It is not about something is going to fade out continuously with the time. No. The demand is increasing, is linearly increasing with the time. And the data is automatically increasing with the time. So what is after AGI? While we didn't really see the AGI, it is the ASI, which is the artificial super intelligence. Artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence, they are not, those two technologies, they are not from me. Those technologies based on what is available currently in the market and what are the high-tech companies talking about on YouTube, on their websites and their blogs, the vlogs, the CEOs when they go for the interview. So they talk about this technology. And then artificial super intelligence, I remember when Grok was released, you know, Grok was released by xAI, Explainable AI. The owner of that company is Elon Musk. So, you know, for marketing, they use whatever they can use. So, with the full respect to everyone, definitely. So they said, Grok, it is the first artificial intelligence to simulate the human intelligence. So me as a user, to be honest, I didn't see that. And I believe other generative AI tools, while they are still in the generative AI, they are performing better than Grok currently. But anyway, I think later on, as long as now you heard about AGI and you heard about ASI, you are going to see them on YouTube, you are going to see them on social media. I don't think either one of them consider us in the market. Maybe the first step of artificial general intelligence, we have it currently. Some of the generative AI tools, they can create content, they can do coding, they can analyze data, they can create graphics, they can work on audio, they can be entrepreneur like DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Gemini, I believe recently. Those consider as the first, like putting the first step in the technology of the artificial general intelligence. Are they real artificial general intelligence? No, artificial intelligence needs a lot of improvements in terms of the computing, in terms of the speed of the internet, in terms of the machines, in terms of the affordability of the machine. This technology is very expensive. The machines are very expensive. So it's going to take time to be available in the markets. And so you imagine about artificial super intelligence. Artificial super intelligence is going to be at least in another 2 decades. So this is another motivation for everyone to look at what is the demand is going to be like in the future of artificial intelligence. Then what is exactly artificial super intelligence is going to be? It was said that, sorry, that artificial super intelligence is going to be the first model of artificial intelligence to be more intelligent than the human intelligence. Yes, they say artificial super intelligence, which is something going to be more intelligent than the human intelligence. It is a technology that is going to break through the current science that we have, or the current beliefs that we have. So artificial super intelligence may be going to break through math, then we are going to have better equations, faster equations. Going maybe to break biology, then we are going to have better kind of medicine and analysis. Going to break physics to have new methods. So it was said artificial super intelligence is going to be more intelligent than human. So another question for you before we end today, algorithms or human? And at the same time, do you think artificial intelligence is more intelligent than the human intelligence currently? Or do you think artificial intelligence is going to be more intelligent than the human intelligence in the future? All right. So talking about them, we are still in the narrow AI. We are still in this level, which is the narrow artificial intelligence, which is the weak artificial intelligence. Why it is weak artificial intelligence? Because without training data, without the predefined data, without the data, we cannot develop anything. Okay, the artificial intelligence that's supposed to be, it's supposed to be artificial intelligence, which is going to learn by itself, which is supposed to be the AGI, and we didn't reach AGI. Earlier today, I said, can you imagine with all the development, with all the huge amount huge demand on artificial intelligence, but we still didn't reach the real artificial intelligence. Yes, we didn't reach the artificial general intelligence, which is supposed to be the real artificial intelligence. All right, and then the super intelligence, then this is going to be something to pass, to be beyond the human intelligence. Let's see. All right, so talking about AGI, talking about generative AI, we have to talk about something very important, which is the AI agent and the agentic AI. A lot of talk currently in the market about generative AI. Then when it comes to the generative AI, we have to talk about something AI agent and agentic AI. So what are those about, or what are the differences? In simple, AI agent is the reactive agent. Agentic AI is the proactive agent, or I would say AI agent is the reactive technology of artificial intelligence. Agentic AI is the proactive, technology of artificial intelligence. So what does that mean? It means when you are using any of the generative AI tool, those generative AI tools, they are not going to take any action without using the prompt. Okay, you have to write a prompt. You go to ChatGPT, you have to write something, then ChatGPT will provide you what is related. You use Copilot, you have to ask for something, then they will provide you whatever is related. You go to maybe DeepSeek, Grok, whatever, GitHub Copilot, Adobe Firefly, Midjourney, a lot of others currently available, the Claude. Then you have to write the prompt, then you are going to get the result. Agentic AI, so those they react. So you write a prompt about, okay, generate an article talking about AGI. Then you are going to get text data, then it's going to generate an article about AGI. A proactive is going to be also using the prompt, then it's going to generate for you whatever is related, and then beyond that. So like, for example, all right, I want to generate a blog for my website, and then this blog is going to talk about AGI. Then I want to post this blog for this weekend. Then agentic AI is going to write for me a blog, and then this is going to be to post in for this coming weekend. Then they are going to ask you, would you like to generate another blog to be posted in the following weekend, which is going to talk about maybe the applications of AGI. I'm going to be about the ASI, and then they are going to ask you to, okay, would you like to another blog which is going to be posted in 2 weeks from this blog, and then this is going to be about the comparison between AGI and ASI. So you can see it's not only the answer that you want, it is also beyond the answer, which is going to be related to this answer. Another example, all right, I'm traveling to Singapore on this coming Saturday. Can you get for me the cheapest flight? So agentic AI going to get for you the cheapest flight based on the time, based on the airlines, and then going to help you also to book a hotel, going to help you to schedule your meetings if you are going for a business trip, or going to provide you places to visit if you are going for a picnic, going to help you to rent a car, but this is all with your permission for the payment, definitely. And then whatever is related to your question. So you can see this is the difference between AI agent and agentic AI. Both of them, when we talk about AI agent, those days, AI agent, it means any software, any service, any web app, any mobile app, any GUI that it was built based on using 100% artificial intelligence. We call it AI agent. It's like the final product of using AI or developing a model of AI. Agentic AI, which is something to do more things. I think you have noticed nowadays, if you are writing any prompt for, I'm not going to say all of the generative AI tools, but some of the generative AI tools, After they provide you the result, they will ask you something to continue with. They will ask you something is like to improve their results, to improve the thing that they want to find you. They want to find for you. All right. So I think you are going to hear about AI agent. You are going to hear about agentic AI, and maybe you think about developing something. Then definitely agentic AI is the way to go, which is about improving. And if you are a user, you want to use those tools in more efficient way, then just to let you know that there are those tools, they come as agentic AI, so they can provide you what you want, and they can provide things that are related to what you want. Sometimes they can provide you things that you didn't think of, you're not aware of. All right, I'm going to write a blog for this coming weekend, and I'm still not really aware or not really planned for the following weekend. Then they might suggest for you a topic for the following weekend to be as a blog for your website, or the following 2 weekends, 3 weekends, more interesting topics. Or maybe they will try to, okay, fine for you, all right, so why don't you make it twice a week? And they can also be like, they can have more information, they can have more things. If you are going to use a RAG and whatever related, this is something technical. I don't want to mention about the technical, but agentic AI, is a proactive. You just understand it as a proactive. This one is a reactive. You ask, you get an answer. Agentic AI, you ask, you get an answer, and you get something related to your answers. Can be suggestions or can be other answers based on the prompt. So prompt is very important. Crafting effective prompt, it is something sorry, crafting effective prompt is something on high demand currently. It's something that we need to think of. When we talk about the prompt, it is totally different than the query. Before, or we still, when it comes to the search engine, when it comes to use of the search engine, we always use a query. What is the difference between a query and the prompt? When it comes to the query, a query considered as a few keywords. Then few keywords, you put them in the Google search or the Yahoo search or whatever search engine, then you will get lots of results. Then you are going to scroll down to see which one is relevant. Then you're going to click on that link. Then you will see the results. All right. When it comes to the prompt, a prompt, it is the way that you are going to form your request for the generative AI tool to understand your request to get for you the best results based on the data that that generative AI tool was trained on. We said all of those generative AI tools, they are using one of the AI domains. So as long as you are writing a prompt, so it means you are writing text. As long as you are writing text, it means NLP, natural language processing. Natural language processing, it is about bridging the understanding between machine and human language. So that's why when it comes to natural language processing, when it comes to those models that they use the technology of natural language processing, so it means they use the human language alike, the human language understanding. So that's why you have to answer, or you have to ask in a way like how you are talking to a human. All right. You imagine you want a graphics. If you are going to hire a graphic designer, or you are going to talk to a graphic designer, then you are going to tell a lot of detail. I want the background to be like that. I want the right side to be like that. I want the left side to be like that. I want the colors to be like that. I want this object to be like this, like that. So you are going to tell the graphic designer lots of things for the graphic designer to imagine what do you want to make a graphics for you. So exactly the same thing you have to do when it comes to any generative AI tool. You have to be more informative. You have to follow some rules to tell the right thing about what your request to help, and for the sake of those generative AI tools to get for you the best results. So that's why we said clarity is the king. So you have to be specific. You have to be specific. What do you want? Like, for example, for me, I always start my prompt with instructions. All right. So once I start with the instructions, so that generative AI tools will understand what do I want. Like sometimes, all right, write a code about blah, 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 blah. So you can see it's a very clear instruction. I want the generative AI tool to write a code. Okay, what is the code about? The code about this, purpose. What are the variables? Then I mentioned the variables. What are the programming language? I mentioned the programming language. What should be the length of the code? I mentioned the length of the code. What should be the results? I mentioned the results. What kind of data or what kind of things that code is going to work on? So you can see more clear, more specific. All right. And then you have to, you have to be straight to the point. So be specific and then show the purpose. So you want to write a code. Okay, what is this code about? This code about this topic. Okay, what is the purpose of this code? So this code, maybe I want it to work on these variables. Or the code I wanted the code to do these things. Or the code I'm going to use it for such a data or such a task. All right. And then it is always about showing what do you want to be the width or the length of the result? When it comes to the code, maybe we don't really need the length, but when it comes to text, it is always about telling the length. So I want an article to talk about artificial general intelligence. So write an article to talk about generative AI, about artificial general intelligence, right? Write about the future application of artificial general intelligence. This article is supposed to be into 2 paragraphs, mainly focusing on using artificial general intelligence for marketing. Artificial general intelligence, maybe for finance, maybe for gaming, so you can see it's like I'm more clear. So the more clear with my prompt, the more informative and the more expressive I'm going to be in my prompt, then the better results I'm going to get. And it is always about tuning the prompts. So I always need to tune the prompts. So you can see like here in terms of the text content, write up a report about this topic. So this is very general. But when I'm going to, write a concise report on the impact of the climate change on specific region and includes at least 3 credible sources and use a formal tone. Yeah, that maybe the tone is also important when it comes to the text. So you can see the difference between this prompt and this prompt. This is like more clear, more informative, more instructions, more specific, showing the purpose. This is like general. Both of them, they are going to help you to get the result. Both of them, generative AI tool is going to get the result for you. But I am sure the result that you are going to get from this one is not going to be as clear or as specific or as like interesting for you as this kind of a prompt. Like data analysis, I use a lot of them for the data analysis. I use them to analyze data. Nowadays, I'm using less coding to analyze data. I can analyze data by using the Excel with the Copilot. I can analyze data by just use any of the generative AI tools. I can analyze data by using GitHub Copilot. So analyze this data. This is just a general. But when I say, analyze the sales data and this sheet, identify the top 3 performing products and calculate their year-over-year growth, present the findings in a clear table, and I can be more specific. I can choose what kind of visualization. I can ask about the correlation. I can ask about the building a predictive model. I can do a lot of things. All right. So I hope it's clear. Whatever is related to AI, all of those technologies, and then about the prompt, about the agentic AI and the AI agent when it comes to the generative AI technology, I hope it's clear and the perspective of business, using it for business. Either you want to develop your own model or you want to use the current generative AI tools. If you are using them, then you are on the right path. then you need to continue using them. And it's always about finding a tool to help you with your work. If you are not using them, then this is a very good motivation, and this is a very good hint. This is a very good awareness for you to start using them. All right. So when it comes to the business, when it comes to the revolution of generative AI tools in terms of the business, so we are going to focus on what is related to Malaysia. We are not going to go worldwide. We are going to think about what is for the Malaysia. So let me share the whole screen, sorry. Then you can see in a better way. So you can see in this article, this is based on my research. In this article, they mention how AI is going to reshape Malaysia's economic landscape. And then this one, it was released in 27 April 2025. So just like 2 weeks ago. So they mentioned that as a report of 2024, they say that the Department of Statistics of Malaysia estimates 600,000 workers may lose their old jobs over the course of the next 3 to 5 years as AI replace those kind of jobs. Some of the manufacturing jobs, yes, definitely, because of the dancing robots, the one that we mentioned earlier, administrative, and anything that related to the management and any of those repetitive work. So this is the article. Maybe you can see more here. All right, so this is quite interesting. But in this article, you can see globally, they mention 85 million jobs are likely to be lost, with 97 million new ones are to be created. This is because of the AI. So definitely, this is what going to be also in Malaysia. So there are those 600,000 jobs going to be obsolete, but at the same time, there are many other jobs going to be available. So it is only the movement from the comfort zone. And this is another one talking about Malaysia. This is by involvement of artificial intelligence from Microsoft in Malaysia. So as you can see here, I believe you can see my screen. Yes, exactly. All right, so you can see this is empowering industries in Malaysia to put AI in action. And then in this event, I think this is what happened recently. So some of the use cases, they were there. I think the most interesting one, it was the one that it was shared by RHB Bank. And then Microsoft mentioned that they are going to upskill 800,000 Malaysians with the AI skills by the end of 2025. So you imagine 600,000 workers losing their jobs in 3 to 5 years from now. But at the same time, this year only 800,000 people, they are going to be upskilled to work in the field of artificial intelligence, which is on the highest demand currently and is going to be on the highest demand for the future, as I showed you just now, the development of generative AI to AGI and to ASI. All right, so this is the one. And then let me share with you this video. This is a simple use case about the involvement of artificial intelligence. Just let me know if you can hear the sound or not. Can you hear the sound from this video? were you able to hear the sound? Oh, no sounds. Okay, for the email, yes. For the slides, yes, we can email you the slides later on. No worries. And you can see all the links over there.
In Malaysia specifically, the challenge we are seeing is we've got people who are working super hard to make ends meet, however, still not being able to afford a decent and dignified quality of life.
Shifting jobs from one job to another job. It's been upside down in my life.
In the Skills for Jobs program, we give people access to productivity tools so that they can make their time that much more valuable.
Is the sound clear now?
The most important skills that I learned in Microsoft Skills for Job program were in AI. I can learn from AI for my career.
In Malaysia specifically, the challenge we are seeing is we've got people who are working super hard to make ends meet, however, still not being able to afford a decent and dignified quality of life.
Shifting jobs from one job to another job. It's been upside down in my life.
In the Skills for Jobs program, we give people access to productivity tools so that they can make their time that much more valuable.
The most important skills that I learned in Microsoft Skills for Job program were in AI. I can learn from AI for my career advancement. Now, I'm working in the construction company as an administrator. They give me more salary than I expected. And on top of that, I've been chosen as a trainer for Microsoft. My interest is giving knowledge to other people.
AI is reducing the barriers for people to get new skills and navigate complex new jobs. This gives me a lot of hope knowing that AI can really give everyone the tools and tech to be their best version of themselves.
I'm better than myself yesterday or last week or last year. I'm more confident.
Okay, all right. So there's another improvements of the usage of the artificial intelligence in the country. So Malaysia to explore artificial intelligence and digital innovation for the social protect system. So it was mentioned by the, I think, UNDPS, the United Nations Development Program. So Malaysia is going to use it for the for the social protection. So this is going to be more efficient, more up to date. And I think that one of the most interesting one, it is those two. So I think you have noticed the recent organization that it was released, I believe, in August 2024, which is the National Artificial Intelligence Office. This is National Artificial Intelligence Office here in Malaysia, and then they are trying to focus on these 7 steps currently, and I believe for the future is going to be even more. And when it comes to the state of art of artificial intelligence, Malaysia is planning to be the leader, #1 in the in manufacturing and in the field of the semiconductor by using the artificial intelligence, as you can see from this article. Okay, so Malaysia is setting to become the global leader in the semiconductor industry by harnessing the potential of the artificial intelligence. Okay, all right. So these are the most interesting and the most remarkable currently in terms of using artificial intelligence in the country. I think these are the bigger projects, could be some of them government projects, some of them private projects. And beside that, there are also many other projects currently available in the country, focusing on using artificial intelligence. Okay, so this one to show you the demand, to show you the interest. Beside that, definitely a lot of universities currently, they are offering the artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics as a disciplinary study, because the demand is going to be high. A lot of companies now, they are starting to invest in Malaysia, especially those high-tech companies, in terms of the cloud, in terms of the computing. I think you know that one of the biggest projects is Microsoft. Microsoft is having the storage and having the computing. Google Cloud Platform, AWS, they were thinking about having the storage only, and then they decided to move to provide the to compute this is CTO to the safety in terms of the national disaster in the country, using the water, using a solar. Then they can build computing, they can provide computing, not only provide the storages. So this is going to be, I believe there's going to be huge development in terms of the technology and in terms of also the economy of the country. All right, so this is the technology. This is how the demand now currently in the country. And then, so what are the available tools, or how to use artificial intelligence to be more productive in my daily routine? So generative AI tool, state of art. So means what is the current generative AI tools available? So the question is, how many generative AI tools are available currently? Are you aware of the generative AI tools currently in the market? Are you aware of all the generative AI tools? Okay, based on our experience as trainers, as even developers, as even providing consultation and services, it becomes a quite subjective. It's like, okay, I like ChatGPT. I'm more comfortable with the ChatGPT. I like to use ChatGPT, even if there's another tool which is better or maybe cheaper. Others, they said, okay, I like Gemini. Gemini, currently, it is one of the best. Gemini have upgraded and have improved a lot. Others, they said, no, I'm very good with the DeepSeek. DeepSeek, this is the first one coming from Southeast Asia countries, coming from China. So might be better, might be safer in terms of the privacy and so on. Others, they say, no, I use ChatGPT for content writing. I use DeepSeek for analysis. I use Image Creator for graphics. I use Gemini for coding. I use blah, blah, blah for other creation. So you can see in terms of the usage could be quite different from one individual to another. But are we aware of the current generative AI tool? Definitely no. Even me in this field, we do this training, we do even models, we develop those models. To be honest, with this huge demand and with this huge development, or I would say with this very speedy development in terms of the tool, available tools, launching new tools, I don't think we are able to be aware of what is going on. So what is the advice of how to work on this? There are a few websites, then they can help us to look at what are the available tools, or they can be the navigator. Like, for example, one of them, I think later on, we are going to share with you the slides. This is going to be the best practice for today. I'm just going to demo for now, then later on, you can practice and you can work on those. We can work on those websites. So one of them, it is the POE. So you can see here the POE. This is what I don't know why I couldn't use it on the Safari yesterday. Okay, on the Chrome. So you just need to sign up. Signing up for free. This is considered as, I would say, it's like a navigator.
So instead of going to ChatGPT and ask questions, or going to Gemini to ask questions, to go to Claude and ask questions, to go to other to ask questions, POE, you are going to see them all. All right. And then you ask a question here in the chat, and then you can get the answer from different pots. So you can choose, you can change instead of the pot that you want to use. Okay, you want to use maybe, okay, Claude, or you want to use others. So you can see here, see all. You can see like how many of them. Maybe let me show you this way. So this is going to be the official pots. This one, the reasoning pots. This one is something related to the apps. This one, this searching pots, image generation pots, audio and video pots, the popular pots. Some of them I didn't even hear about them, to be honest. The AI pots, the game pots, especially those into gaming, text analysis pots, programming pots. So you can see thousands of them are available here. Then you can just change. So let me show you. I'm going to, okay, this is a set of generative AI. This is the default pot by POE. Then I'm going to say, what is AGI about? Yeah, this is a very simple. This is a very poor prompt. It's okay. I just want to show you the differences in terms of using the pots. So this is based on the state of the generative AI, based on this pot. Okay, going to click on search, and then you can see this is going to be the results. It seems like taking some times. Okay, so this is about generative AI too, about the artificial general intelligence. Okay, so in terms of using this bot. So I'm going to go to new chat, and this time, right, let me go to home. All right, so and this time I'm going to change it to maybe, which one would you like to prefer? Let's change it to GPT. So I'm going to ask the same question, ChatGPT. So you can see now that the answer is from ChatGPT. You can see even the answer is different. Definitely, those answers, they might be similar to each other in a way, but not going to be 100% similar to each other. But you can see it's like, instead of going to ChatGPT website and then ask those questions, then you can use POE to ask questions. But for the paid one, you have to pay through POE. Yes, they are smart. They are not going to like allow you using it for free here. The good thing about the POE is just a tool, and this tool is considered as a navigator of the current generative AI tools in the market. And then instead of go and search for what is the current new tools and maybe other tools that you normally use, you can use them all here. This is one of them, is the POE. The other one, maybe we can look at, you can look at all of those 5. There are many others considered as like search engine of the current generative AI tools, or they can be the navigator of the current generative AI tools, or going to be the storytelling of the current generative AI tools. Let's go for this one, which is they call it the tool hunt. All right, the tool hunt. So you can see discover, compare, and leverage the power of AI. So you can look at those, they are launched today, and you can look at the news today. So it seems there is no generative AI tools launched today. All right, but as you can see here, these are the currently available, which is fine. POE also provide what is available currently in the market. But the most interesting part over here, browse in 18,546 AI tools. Can you imagine? Currently, we have 18,000 plus generative AI tools, while we are aware of maybe only 2, 3, 1, maximum 10 of them. If we are really, really good, I think we will be aware of maybe maximum 10. Then people who are like very into the generative AI, they might go like up to, I think, maximum 10. Like, for example, I'm using them for everything nowadays. So I can't even now, if I want to count them, I don't think I will reach number 10. While we have 18,000 available here. So it is always good to check those. It is always good to figure out what is going on and to see the new tools. Definitely not all of them are superhero or super good. Some of them considered as a beta version. Some of them you have to pay. There is not even a trial version. But at least you are going to be aware and you are going to know what is going on currently in the market. All right. I think this is the future tools. It could be something good to look at. Let me show you. All right. So this one is going to help you to filter. All right, what do you want to use? So you can click here. What do you want to use? Like you want to something for the copywriting, something for finance, something maybe for the research, for image scanning. And then you are going to get those tools that they are related to your request. And the amount of tools for future tools are 3,395. Yes, not as good as the tool hunt. That one showing 18,000, but even the 3,395 is also considered as a really huge number of those tools to figure out and to see which one is good to be used. Okay, so I leave it to you. I think this is very interesting. This is very good to start looking at what is good, and then later on you decide on what is good to use. And then for those who are going to use it for the first time, it is always recommended to use those that common or the most common available tools currently in the market. I'm not going to promote anyone as long as I'm not sponsored by anyone yet, hopefully in the future. But most of those I use can be DeepSeek, can be Grok, not really, to be honest. Can be ChatGPT, Gemini, quite interesting, to be honest, recently. Gemini, I think, one of the best so far. While Gemini was not really doing well, like last 2 or 3 months. But currently, Gemini can even, I think, overcome the results of other generative AI tools. DeepSeek, Grok, not Grok, DeepSeek, Gemini, GitHub Copilot, Claude. Later on, I will show you some. Let me show you some of those. All right, so those can be some of the tools that normally I use or normally I focus on. And then definitely each one it comes, or each one is like, can be significant and apart. Like ChatGPT, when it was released, it was very good with the text generation, but now also can generate code, can generate graphics, can generate other things. Claude used to be one of the best for me. I used to use a Claude before, then and that time I was using ChatGPT and I was paying for ChatGPT monthly. Then the free version of Claude used to be even better than the paid ChatGPT earlier like 6 months ago. But now I don't think so. If you ask me now, I think, if you ask me that for now, like mainly I'm using Gemini. Gemini now is doing very well. And I believe later on will be another tool to do better. Or maybe like ChatGPT going to do better. Then go back to Claude, go back to Gemini, go back to maybe a new tool. So the competition is quite high. And to compare is also, it's quite difficult. So Copilot, I think Copilot is considered as the most interesting one currently when it comes to other softwares. Why Copilot is the most interesting one? Because Copilot, it is the only generative AI tools which is integrated in the Microsoft Office. Yes, some of others, some other companies, they start to have the generative AI tools to be integrated in their softwares. But Copilot, it was the earliest one to be integrated in PowerPoint, in Microsoft Office, and others. I think you have heard about the Copilot 356. So with the PowerPoint, you have Copilot. With the Word, you have Copilot. With the Excel, you have Copilot. And even with the Power BI, if you have heard about Power BI, or some of you used Power BI or are using Power BI currently, now we have Copilot. Power BI mainly for data visualization, for building models, for data analysis, for building dashboards. Now, with the Copilot integrated in Power BI, we can use text to build a dashboard. We can use text to build visualization. We can use text to do the model. Even for the DAX, which is the data analysis expressions, we have to have all of those equations and the language to work on the relationship among the tables. Then now we can use Copilot to create the DAX. Interesting, very interesting. DALL-E is considered as the OpenAI, so that's why ChatGPT for the graphics is good, because this is mainly for the graphics. Midjourney, it is the first generative AI tool, was mainly for graphics and is still mainly for graphics. I think it is the most interesting one, but it is quite expensive, and they don't have the trial version. The stable diffusion is interesting for the generation. There are no way. I just used to use it for fun, for the video and image editing. I don't know how good it is currently. And then the rest, I think they are good, especially when it comes to media. Adobe Firefly, I'm using it currently because I'm paying for the Adobe. I use it for some graphics, so I have the Firefly. I think it's good. It's quite good. Not significantly good than others, but it's quite good to use if you are paying for it. Perplexity, I think, is good. I heard a lot of good things. I'm just using it recently. I didn't use it massively, but I heard a lot of good things about it. So these are the tools. These are the current tools. So based on the background check that we did early this morning. So again, please, for those who are not aware of the current tools, it is a time for you to look at those tools, to just try them for fun. Most of them, they come with the free trial. Most of them, they come as a free, definitely with the limited request and with the limited usage per day. But I believe they are going to be quite good, and they are going to be good enough for you to use for the daily routine, to use for you as a beginner for those tools. But it is a time to use them, and it's a time to start adventuring in these tools. All right. Implementation of the artificial intelligence for the business growth. We are going to move to something more interesting. So we are aware of whatever is going on. We are aware of the tools. We are aware of the technology, the demand of the technology, the power of the technology, how powerful artificial intelligence now and how powerful is going to be in the future. Then two things we are going to discuss now before we stop for today, before we stop for your Q&A. The first one, the most interesting part. So there are those models here, and based on what I have shared from here, so like just now, we were looking at the tool hunt. We saw that 18,000 plus number of generative AI tool available currently in the market. Then maybe it's a good time to think about developing our own model. Developing our own model, definitely it is considered as a technical part. I'm not going to go to the technical part, but if you are interested, if you are someone who is like, okay, I want it for my business, I want to integrate something for my business, I want to work on something that I'm going to use it for free. And the other main reason, not only to use it for free, not only to save cost, not only because of the cost, the other main reason, it is the privacy. When you are going to develop your own tool, then it's going to be used by you only. It's going to be used by your own company. So that's why a lot of companies currently, they moved to be, they call it what, the leads of using AI, or they want to be the company #1 in terms of using artificial intelligence. So they want to use artificial intelligence in their company. Then the first step, or the first thing, it is about developing those models locally. Why? To maintain the privacy and to maintain the how responsible to be AI, the AI ethics, the privacy of the data, and so on. All right. So the steps, the main steps here, definitely these are more to discuss, but it is just a quick one. So define your goal and scope. So you want to develop a model. The model is, you want it to be for what? You want it to be for text, you want it to be for audio, you want it to be for video, you want it to be for graphics, images, you want it to be for coding, you want it to be for what? So what kind of bot do you want to build? All right. Then you need to understand the fundamentals, and then to look at what is available. And then you need to choose those open sources. There are plenty of open sources libraries you can use for free. Then you are going to set up your development environment. So this is going to be all about the computing, all about what you need to use. And then you need to train those models. Then you need to get the data and then to train your model. A lot of data sets available currently also online for free. You can use them to develop the model, which is going to be used by only you. It's not going to be public like DeepSeek, like Generative AI, like ChatGPT, like Gemini, like others. It's going to be used only by you. And then later on, you can also train those models on your own data if the data is enough. Then you can fine-tune the model, which is to improve the accuracy of the model, evaluate the model, then iterate and refine to improving the accuracy to reach the threshold. Okay, what is going to be the threshold? So yeah, if you are the developer, if you are going to develop this model, so you want the model and you want the accuracy to reach what kind of level? Okay, I want the accuracy to be 92. So this is the threshold, on 90. So anything after 90, anything higher than 90, then it's going to be passing the threshold or reaching the threshold. Then it means you can deploy it and you can start monitoring. And then considering the ethics and considering the responsible AI. So this is going to be another thing to focus on. Just a quick one when it comes to the AI ethics, when it comes to the AI responsibility. First of all, any AI model have to be very transparent, have to be believing in equality, have to be like very fair to everyone, have to be very transparent in terms of how the model was developed, what kind of data was developed on. And then responsibility is going to be, okay, providing moderate answers, providing responsible answers, avoiding anything that related to sensitive topics. So these are a lot of things to think about. Even currently in Malaysia and worldwide, governments, they are developing ethics, they are developing rules for the AI to be used. Okay, all right. So these are the steps. Behind each of a step, there are a lot of technical steps. Today is not about technical, but if you want to develop it, if you want to move to technical, these are the main steps. Why do you move to develop your own? First of all is the cost. Second is the privacy. So that's why we asked earlier at the morning, we asked, okay, when it comes to the AI, are you going to build or buy? If you want to build, then you have to bear in mind the cost, the data, the talents that you have, the people that they are going to do the deployment and monitoring, and then the privacy. If you are going to buy, then also the cost, the privacy, then the revenue. Lots of things need to put in mind. You have to have a strategy on whether to develop or to buy. Definitely not every company, they need AI now. Not every company, they can afford developing AI. Not every company, even if they can afford AI, they are going to get the full benefit of AI, or going to be worth it to use AI. So lots of things need to be considered. Lots of things need to be planned to utilize the technology of AI. All right. Okay, so back to something, because we want to demo a few things. So when it comes to prompt, earlier we said how to craft a prompt, how to do prompt, how to craft the effective prompt. So how to do now prompt engineering for business. So as long as mainly we are focusing on business. So you imagine here, the scenario is a marketing team wants to generate creative social media captions for a new product launch. So the poor prompt is going to be, all right, write some social media captions. So it's not specific and missing a lot of the context. But you imagine this kind of a prompt. Generate 5 creative and engaging social media captions for the launch of blah, blah, blah product. And this is the description of the product designed for this target audience, people. The captions should be, maybe the tone of the caption should be fun, energetic, informative, persuasive, and then include, sorry. Yes, informative, and then include relevant hashtags, consider using blah, blah, blah. So you can see very clear, very nice, very straightforward, very informative. The purpose is there. The instruction is there. Generate 5 creative and engaging social media captions. See, it's always, we start our prompt with the instruction. It is always about giving the instruction. It is always about showing an instruction to write our prompt. Prompt is very important. Even a prompt engineer now is considered as a job in the market. So people are, they are working as a prompt engineer. So those they can develop and they can deal with the generative AI tools in terms of performing the right prompt. All right, so it's always about the specificity, always about the context, and always about the constraints. So you have to be very specific, you have to be very informative, you have to be also telling about the tone, the length, whatever related to your request, and then show the purpose. Purpose is very important. Okay, all right. I think for now, let me show you, do we have a question here? Sorry, I missed any of those. All right, I'm going to stop the sharing. Let's answer some of the questions, then I will show you. Yeah, I think this is so many. This is about the generative AI tools. Yes, we have so many tools currently. What's your advice for someone from a non-technical background, such as accounting and finance, who wants to pivot into fields like data science or analytics? What are the most practical first steps? Do you think 30 is too late? 30 years old? Very young, right? All right, so very good question. So the question is about someone who is very fresh to this topic, someone who is can be from the non-IT background, not technical background. So they want to adventure into the field of AI. They want to adventure in data science, data analytics. And then they are in the 30, they are in the 40, they are in the 50. There is no age, believe me, as long as you have the desire. And especially when it comes to this field. When it comes to this field, the good thing about this field, there are a lot of third-party tools available currently in the market, and all of those tools are based on complex math, complex statistics, complex coding. Sometimes you don't have to need to learn the math and statistics and that complex coding. You just need to learn how to use those tools. So far, I have trained more than 5,000 people in Malaysia. I train people who are from the medical department. I train people who are lawyers. I train people who are into art. Everyone were able to learn the programming language, learn how to deal with the data, learn how to start analyzing the data. When it comes to lawyers, when it comes to medical doctors, they are quite far from math, statistics, IT, programming language, but they were able to use the programming language. They were able to learn and start analyzing data just a matter of 3 to 6 months, I believe. Python, a programming language, it's one of the easiest, the most powerful, the most common programming language currently in the field. You can learn. There are a lot of generative AI tools can help you to write the code. So just only a matter of deciding. Have you decided to move to this field? Then everything is there. Everything is open source. The demand is high. The competition, I would say, also high, but there is always a chance when it comes to the field of artificial intelligence because of the demand. All of these needs to pay. I believe this question, it was about the generative AI tools. No, most of them are free, but they come with the limits. If you want to go beyond the limit, then you have to pay. Will this recording be available later? I got disconnected earlier. I would check for the recording. Yeah, 30 years old. I'm very young to this field. Welcome. Welcome to the club of artificial intelligence. How does upskilling in artificial intelligence to enhance your current careers? So in finance, but using AI tools different from making a full career switch into AI itself, which path tends to be more viable or valuable in your personal opinion? All right, and yeah, very good question. Another very good question. So without making a career change, so how can I use AI in my current field? This is exactly when we train data scientist people. We say data scientists, they can work in many fields, but the best field to work on is to work in your field, to be data scientist in your field. Why? Because every field generating data currently, and every field they want to deal with the data. So to be data scientist in your field is going to be the best decision. So I'm sure you know your data. I'm sure you know your task. I'm sure you know the distribution of the data. I'm sure you know the characteristic of the data. Then you just need to know what are the current available technology in terms of AI to work on your data. All right. So like, for example, a lot of like even a training recently we are doing using Power BI for finance. And it is much easier than before. Why? Because in Power BI, Copilot is there. So a lot of steps can be done by the Copilot, while Power BI tool is considered as one of the very powerful tool to work on the data analysis, data visualization, can be also linked with the AI, can build the dashboard. Even Excel sheet, currently, there's a Copilot there. You can analyze the data. You can analyze financial data by using Copilot. Any of those tools, any of those data analysis tools, data analysis, generative AI tools currently available, you can use it for the financial data. All right. So it's just you need I think we call it the domain knowledge. So you need just to know what is available currently in terms of generative AI tools in your field. You can use it, and then you are going to be able to make the career change, career switch. Later on, you are going to find a better job. You leave the company. Hopefully your boss is not live with us. Currently, I am using AI tools like Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT to refine job description. Later of appointment. out of vacancies. Makes my job easy. Oh yeah, all right. Thank you for sharing. So you can see here, Mr. Norma, Mr. Norma, sorry. So sharing with us the experience of using generative AI. Okay, all right. So let me go back to, before we stop, just the last quick one to make things more interesting. Oh, okay. So this is the course. If you would like to join, this is a one-day course, Mastering Generative AI, Unleashing the Power of AI for Business Creativity and Productivity. This is a one day. It's going to be 9 to 5. This is going to be mainly about those who are non-technical. They don't want to go for the technical. Then this is about using the current generative AI tools in your work. I personally believe, and this is my own experience, to be honest, for me, it's like when I think about whatever I do, so how can I utilize generative AI tool for my daily job? Okay, I do a lot of coding. So what kind of generative AI tool I should use for coding? I provide a lot of courses. I teach master students in the universities. So how can I create my slides by using AI? How can I create my learning materials by using AI to be more interactive, to be more informative? All right. I do a lot of training. How can I use AI to do the training? All right. So lots of things like I do in my daily routine. So how I use AI. Can you imagine, even people now, they go to the gym. Sometimes when I go to the gym, I can see some of them, they are using AI as a trainer. Yes, you might get surprised. But instead of having a personal trainer, you can have AI as a personal trainer. They can monitor your movements. They can tell you the right move. They can analyze your movements. They can count your calories. They can advise you with the right plan to go to lose weight or to build muscles or to look sexier or whatever. All right. So this course, we decided to provide it to mainly focus on generative AI tools, and we are going to go through lots of things like to use it for text, to use it for graphics, to use it for data analysis, to use it for brainstorming, to use it for entrepreneur, to use it for the video editing, video creating, to use it for the audio. So we are going to focus on whatever is available. Again, this is for the non-technical background, and this is going to be mainly focusing on the free tools. And we are going to show you how powerful are those tools to be used. And then just let me show you a simple demo. I'm going to go to PowerPoint. So I believe you can see my screen. Yes. So this is a PowerPoint. So normally we use PowerPoint for slides, right? So this is to create a presentation here. All right. So I'm going to close. And then this is the new presentation. Then, to be honest, like for me, besides training, I do also a lot of public speech. I do a lot of things that related that I have to talk. I have to present. I have to come with the slides. And you know, any topic that I come with the slides used to take like an average 2 to 3 hours preparing the 20 slides, 20, 25 slides. Used to take at least 2 to 3 hours if I am very familiar with the topic. But if I need to read, if I need to do research, then might take days. Okay. Then I need to make it attractive. I need to put a lot of graphics. Even I still subscribe for other websites to take the graphics that it comes with the free copyright, with the right copyright, with the, I mean, I don't want to be questioned later on as long as I do a lot of public things. So anyway, a lot of work, a lot of payment, and a lot of time needed to work on this. Can you imagine by using Copilot, which is the Copilot 356, which is integrated in PowerPoint? All right, you can see this is Copilot here. You can click on it. Can I click on it and ask here? So instead of going to Copilot as the website, and asking Copilot to do things, you can ask Copilot to do exactly what is this software about. So this software about creating slides, so you can ask questions about creating those things. So I'm going to close it here. Then I'm going to use it. You can see this is the icon here. I'm going to click on it. Create a presentation about. So create a presentation about, I'm going to say artificial general intelligence all right, about applications of AGI and how to use it maybe for gaming. I believe you are not into gaming. You're supposed to. Or how to use it for maybe finance. Just now, it was a question about finance. So just as simple as this prompt, create a presentation about blah, blah, blah. And you can see you can write up to 2,000 letters. So I'm just using 101. So it can be more informative. But anyway, this is the one that I asked about artificial general intelligence, applications of artificial general intelligence, and then how to use it for finance. I'm going to click on search. Then this is the Guntik. You can see how fast. So here you are going to get those subjects of the presentation. So the presentation is going to be understanding artificial general intelligence. It is about the potential applications of artificial general intelligence. It is about artificial general intelligence in finance services. And then it is about the practical implementation of AGI in finance. By the way, you can, this part, like for example, this part you can be up, can be down. You can change the sequence. All right. Like that. And then you can add on, like, okay, for example, after understanding artificial intelligence, I'm going potential applications of artificial intelligence. I'm going to add a new topic here. Okay, compare it with ASI. So you can see another topic is going to be added here. Comparing artificial general intelligence to artificial super intelligence. You can see as beautiful, as fast as this. Let's say I am done. So the estimated number of slides is 20, and then the maximum 40. So normally the number of slides is going to be in between those slides, 20 to 40. So I'm going to click on generate slides. I just want you to count the time of generating those slides. And I want you to look at the quality of those slides, the information of those slides, the way of presenting those slides. I'm not going to say they are going to be super duper into design. But if you ask me, as someone going for a talk, I'm not doing it for a show or fashion. I'm doing it for formal talk. Then it's going to be very good. It's going to be more than enough. So you can see those are the slides, 23 slides. I'm going to go to the view formats. So these are the slides. So you can see artificial general intelligence, applications, and financial utilization. Agenda is there. Understanding artificial intelligence is there. Definition, differences with the narrow intelligent, differences with the ASI, the scope, comparison capabilities, ethical and social. And then you can see others. You can see the graphics and everything done. I think you see it's like very, very few minutes. And at the same time, I want to show you, like, even it comes with the animation. I believe you can see. You can see the animation and you can see how smooth. All right, so it's as good as this. And at the same time, you can also share it. You can share as a copy. You can share it with others. You can share it in your, I think I can share it as a link. Okay. All right, maybe later on in the course, I will show you. This one we can open from the website. You can create it on the website. And then we can share the presentation with others. Then we can work on the presentation together, like how we are doing the virtual meeting. So before I stop, just one more thing. Let's say I'm not happy with the design of this slide. Then I can click on the designer, which is also fully used by AI. And you can see you have all of those designs here. If you are not happy with these designs, you can click on some more designs idea. Let's say if you are happy with this, just click on it, then it's going to be changed. Click on this one, going to be changed. You can later on bring your own graphics, and then the designer going to change the design for you. So informative, looking very good. Believe me, this is as the time that needs is going to consider as very good. If you are familiar with the topic, then it's going to help you. And then it's not only that. Let me show you one more thing. You can see now is the Microsoft Word. So even for the Microsoft Word, the Copilot is there. So you can ask a Copilot, okay, so write an article about AGI. Sorry, I didn't ask. So generate. So you can see instead of go to Copilot and copy from Copilot, asking Copilot, you can see this is going to be automatically here. You can change, you can edit, you can change the design, you can do a lot of things. You can see in a matter of seconds, not in a matter of minutes. This is one of the generative AI tools, which is the Copilot. Then others, they can do even more things. But when it comes to the Copilot, I believe Copilot is considered as one of the most interesting one because it is the only one that it comes with the with the Microsoft Office because it is integrated in the software. All right. Okay. So yes, the training that we have so far, it is on 26th of May. Yeah, I think later on, Mr. Boven, I can share with you the details, can share with you maybe the slides and the recording. And if you have any questions, you can always reach to us. Okay, so any questions, anything that you want to share with us before we start our discussion about algorithms or human? So what do you think of all of those developments? Do you think it's about algorithm or human? All right, so the voice to text, yes, there are many, and this is what they call it, to transcript the voice. So one of them, I think, is otter.ai. It's considered as one of the good generative AI tool, but I think it's a paid now. you can build your own by using a library called Whisper. Whisper is from OpenAI. It's a free open source. You can use it to transcript any text, and then later on you can analyze the text. You can use Copilot with the Teams, Microsoft Teams, during the meeting. Then it's going to take the minutes of the meeting with the multiple language. So definitely the Malaysian language is one of them. All right, so back to my question earlier. It is about algorithms or a human. So it might be a bit difficult to decide. So if you ask me, coming from the technical part and doing these things for a long time, it is all about the human. To be honest, it's all about the human. Whatever we have currently, it is all about the human. And it's going to be all about the human. Whatever is developed by a human, it is living this era differently. So if we talk about like maybe during our teenage age, or maybe the first car that we used to own, it was definitely engine car, it was manual car. Now, if we want to move to a new car, so I don't think we are going to go for the manual. I don't think even we are going to go for the engine car. We might go for the EV car, right? So you can see like demands, the style of living is different currently. All right. So this is what is going to be happen also for the new generations. So they are going to live with the artificial intelligence as a technology. They are going to utilize it in a different way. And then the question that I have shared as well, do you think ASI going to be more intelligent than a human? Do you think artificial intelligence is more intelligent than a human currently, or is going to be more intelligent than a human? Definitely, artificial intelligence currently is not more intelligent than a human. We are still in the narrow AI. We are still in the weak AI. We are still in the AI that is going to learn from the predefined data. So that's why we always look at the predefined data. In the future, that artificial intelligence is going to be more intelligent than the human, with lots of like subjective understanding. If you ask me, it's not going to be more intelligent than a human. But if you consider as artificial intelligence writing the coding for you in matter of a minute instead of spending a month to write that code, if you consider this is considered as intelligence, then yes, artificial intelligence is more intelligent than a human. The only difference between human and machines, machines, they learn, they will never forget. A human, they learn and they forget. Machines, they learn from the mistakes. A human, they don't learn from the mistakes. Machine, they do the mistakes once, they won't repeat it. A human, they do the mistakes once, then they repeat it. All right. These are the differences. I believe it's quite subjective to consider, but technically, I don't think artificial intelligence is going to be more intelligent than a human. Hopefully.